This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the Gulf of Mexico as their backdrop, broadcasting live from the Margaritaville Resort on Fort Myers Beach, here are the hosts of the dinkiest podcast in America, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Thank you very much. And thank you all for coming to Margaritaville on a chilly December morning. It was 32 degrees when I went out to run this morning. Wow.
Okay, first of all, did you actually run?
I did.
How far did you go?
I am not keeping track now. This is somebody
100 yards.
This is somebody who used to keep track every single mile I ran. Now I'm afraid to keep track because it's so pitiful. But no, I parked in Lynn Hall Park, and then I tried to run south to see, because we have our 5K race coming up on New Year's Eve. So I kind of wanted to see where we were going to set the course, and then the beach renourishment. Sorry, New Year's Eve, and the beach renourishment's right in the way. So the whole run is going to be out from Diamond Head and then south for half the run, and then you turn around and loop back on the hard sand because the pipes are all down there. But no. I got down here I had long johns on, and I had 3 shirts on, and I actually ran with gloves on. That's how much of a sissy I am in this weather.
I ran. It
Wow.
was chilly. It was chilly this morning, but I'm rocking shorts now.
I know. You are toughest mudder in New Jersey one year in November. That's a 24-hour race in New Jersey in November. And I thought I was a badass, right? I brought a tent and not much stuff, and the tent was small, and by the third lap, it was a 10-mile lap. It was a 10-mile loop.
When he signed up for that, I was like, okay, go ahead, go with God, good luck. And then he signed me up behind my back.
Yes, I did.
Like 3 weeks before the race. So panic set in, and we go. I'm like, all right, well, we need a tent and sleeping bag. We're not. We're just going to
I just thought I was going to run the whole 24 hours and never go in the tent.
I said, let's just get it, and then we can return it if we don't use it, which we did. And then what happened?
Well, it didn't go as well as planned.
It went very bad for you.
They had some water obstacles, which I wasn't dressed for in November in New Jersey. The water is not like the heated pool here at Margaritaville in New Jersey when you have to jump in a lake. And I just remember we had to do this water obstacle because you missed the wall. So the penalty if you miss the wall is you gotta swim in a lake across a cold lake. And of course I made the wall and she couldn't get up the wall.
Okay, by the way, it's a wall that you have to run up.
Wall.
It's 12. It's like 100 feet in the air.
Give me a break. So then I said, okay, even though I made the wall, I could have walked around the water and waited for her.
You grabbed my arm, but you had no strength to help me pull
stop.
up. So really, it was
like
your
Mr.
fault.
America. Cut it out. So we get so I figured, okay, we're going to do this race together. So I get in the water with her and she's swimming. She starts hallucinating, thinking there's some like, I don't know what you thought. There was some lady in front of us. By the way, the lady in front of us who was swimming only had one leg. And she was swimming like there's no tomorrow. I mean, she was killing it.
She killed that whole
race.
I
get out of the water and I'm freezing. I had to get one of those silver heated blankets they put on all the sissies when it's too cold. So now I'm standing in the tent and I have this heated blanket on and I'm shivering. And this special forces guy, this Marine
Navy
guy,
SEAL,
must have been doing the race. He's standing there, no shirt on and gym shorts on, and like nothing, it's 12 degrees out, and the guy was Superman for sure. And so I had to leave because I got disqualified because I stayed in the girly tent too long. So
I remember I was asking them, I'm like, can we go? Because you have to do a medical check every lap, and the lady's like, no.
Yeah,
it's over for him.
Because I was, my lips were blue. I was hallucinating. I thought I was on Mars.
We had to take our stuff back to Walmart because we didn't even get to use it.
No, we left the tent right there on the course. I was so pissed.
He was so mad.
Of course, we went back 3 more times to do that race again, and it was only $800 each to register to get the kind of abuse. And that's one of those races where you sign a death waiver. before that. But anyway, the
And they
old
have
days, and now we're old and we
electrocution.
can't even run a 5K, or I
Are we
can't.
going to talk about your banking?
No, let's save the
Okay.
banking thing. But I did want to tell everybody what's going on today. It is the annual Christmas Bike Caroling Parade. Yes, that starts down here at Bayside Park. They have live music at Bayside Park, and then Santa Claus and the Grinch and everybody will lead you out on the bike. They're not going down the side streets like they have in past years because
That's
of
kind of a new thing with the Grinch, no?
no,
Because
he's always
the Grinch has been coming to all of every.
Yeah. So
No, I
they
don't think Santa Claus always had a sidekick as the Grinch.
can I finish just telling
I'm
everybody
just
what
saying,
the
I
route
think
is
it's a
instead
sign
of
of the
interrupting?
times.
So they're going to go out onto Estero Boulevard down by Diamond Head, turn around, and everybody will park their bikes downstairs here at Margaritaville. They'll be safe and secure.
The Grinch won't get them.
And then you come up here and you can see the stage is set up because the Ben Allen Band will be playing tonight at 7:30. And please, if you're
That is
coming,
way past your bedtime.
yeah, but I'm staying. I'm going to stick
Oh,
it
you're
out.
staying?
Yeah, I'm going to
Oh.
finish the show. I'm going to ride my bike to the gym, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to set up our tent over there, and then go
You
ahead
just
bike.
had to insert
Yeah.
that whole little.
I
I'm
ran
gonna
this
ride
morning,
my
going to the
bike.
gym and
Mhm.
ride my bike a little.
Good luck.
All right,
Keep it up.
enough stories about us, dear. People are not here to hear us talk about each
you.
other. Let's talk about Christmas Eve and the ceremony, the church ceremony that's going to be at Bowditch with our friends from Westminster Presbyterian. Kevin is here along with Gage. Come on down, guys. Kevin and Gage are going to tell us about the Christmas. Yeah, big hand for our church friends. So they're going to sit in 3 and 4, and there's
So you got to give them some room.
there's
Move
a
over.
service on Christmas Eve, which is, Dave, in case you didn't know that, that's the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve. So thank you guys for coming on. Tell us a little bit about.
What did you call it? A Christmas?
I called it Christmas service. Christmas
No,
Eve
you didn't
service.
say service. It is a service, right?
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
So
He
tell
said
us
some weird word.
tell us
Yeah.
about this the church first, where the church is and what your roles are there.
Yeah, so my name's Gage Jordan. I am the new pastor of families and outreach. So I've been here since September. I am brand new. So this actually is going to be my first
Oh,
Christmas Eve service on the beach. So
pressure
we're
is on.
Really
Where are you
excited.
from?
Originally from Arkansas. If
Ah.
you hear the twang.
A little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
right, a little bit.
The last 4 years we've lived in rural West Tennessee from Dyersburg, and so we made the trek down.
Wow.
Yeah. So the church is in South Fort Myers, and so we are on Ligon Court, right off of Bass Road. If you know,
Right over there.
if you know where Summit Christian School is, we started Summit Christian School in the 90s, and that's where our church is located.
Yeah, and I'm Kevin. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
the.
Hi, Kevin.
I guess technically I'm the director of video worship there, but I play with the worship team, and I was a worship leader in Fort Myers for years at a different church. And actually, in the COVID year, the year after COVID, I got to lead music for the Christmas Eve service at Bowditch Point, and it was awesome.
Oh, wow.
We
Yeah.
had 450 people plus that year. So, and we've done it for 15 years. We've only missed 2 for COVID and Ian,
Mhm.
but the church has been providing, and it's Christmas story, it's Christmas carols,
Yes.
and it's the coolest thing to be singing Silent Night and see the sun just dip
Nice.
into the ocean.
Now,
So-
what time does it start?
It starts at 5:00. Now, Kevin's being modest. He does more than just lead me. He leads music. He does a lot of our graphics, a lot of the media. So we're real thankful for Kevin. Yeah. So it starts at 5 p.m. And so the whole service will probably be, I guess, 45 minutes total, because it'll end if we plan it correctly, if we time everything right. It'll end as us singing Silent Night as the sun goes down. And I hear rumors of a pirate boat that I'm supposed to be excited about that hopefully you'll
Really?
make an
Would come
appearance.
back
That's what I've
around.
heard.
Yeah.
Who told you that? I didn't know that. Is that something that
I think just some of the church members
I
and,
see.
and our senior pastor Ryan.
Well, I think
Right.
that the pirate boat, that's
It leaves around that time?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think
So you're Kevin, you're also in a band.
Yeah, I play right here at the beach with Limited Edition.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're at Bayside Park as part of the concert series. But the cool news was that just this past week they called us up and we had a little scheduling thing. They said, "Hey, can you play New Year's Eve?" So we're going to be the band playing down at the park at 7:00 on New Year's Eve, 7 to 10. before the fireworks. So that's really cool that we get to
Right.
do that this year.
And just to fill in the details on New Year's Eve, of course, we've got our race. We've got 400 people registered for the race so far, which is nice with still a week to go. So we should top that. All that money goes to the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club. You probably know they're trying to rebuild their building. So we'll be able to write them a nice check on New Year's Eve. Then you can come down to Bayside Park and watch limited edition play. I have to look, and I know Jackie from the Chamber sent me a press release. There might be a band before you. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah,
And then
I'm not sure.
New Year's Eve, there's a lot of stuff going on, but obviously this is a great place to watch the fireworks because the fireworks are right out off the pier. They have a barge out there, so this is a great place. This year, if you come up here to the terrace at Margaritaville, it's free. I know last year there was a charge, and it was kind of they tried to do a closed thing, but they're opening it up to everybody this year, so it is free on New Year's Eve, and then the fireworks are at midnight. Talk about a long day, dear. That's going to be a long day.
Oh, are we going?
Well, we're broadcasting. We always broadcast the fireworks live. I guess we could just call in sick.
And the bridge
Nobody
is
will get to
closed,
watch.
right?
And the bridge will be
Closed
closed
from
for like
11
an
to
hour.
1:30, yeah.
Yeah, hour and a half.
Yeah.
So the Christmas Eve service, is it all singing, or are you gonna deliver a?
Yeah, so it's a mixture of carols.
What
and
do you call that? Are you gonna deliver a
homily? Yeah,
homily?
that's church language for
Homily.
short sermon, right?
Okay.
Ideally, he's only got a limited amount of time. Ryan's going to be doing the homily. Our senior pastor Ryan Broadhurst, and it's a shorter sermon because they're going to be looking at him going, "Listen, that sundown is coming.
We want to
sunset's
sing.
coming." So
Right.
set it accordingly. Yeah. So we'll open up. We'll sing some carols. There'll be Christmas carols and hymns that everybody knows, and then we'll have a special time. Actually, our offering that we'll take on the beach. None of it will go to the church. All of it is going to go to missions this year,
Nice.
both local and overseas.
Will you be going to Africa at all on your missions?
One of them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
one-
in Africa do you go? I love going to Africa and
Stop.
doing missions.
There's a story behind that. Go ahead. We're in Africa.
Well, I mean, so it's kind of.
Do you know?
I do know.
Okay.
They're all over. Yeah, they're
He's
all
there.
over.
He's new. He just
I
started.
was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I was in Africa
Okay.
just in October.
What
So
part?
in Kenya.
Yeah.
And at a
That's
school for.
Gage, can I ask you a
disabled
personal
kids.
question?
Sure.
Oh, here we go.
How do you get your hair to stick up straight like that?
Man, it's a key product. You got to get good right products.
What,
to do
good
that.
right? Is that what
Yeah.
it's called?
No, it's a Avita.
Avita.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I love
yeah.
Avita. What do you?
Yeah.
Is it a lot of Avita? I mean, do you
No,
get an
it's-
extra Avita? For,
And it's like
I've been doing it so long, it just
Yeah.
kind of naturally does.
it's
that
not
at
like a
this
gel,
point.
it's like a pomade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, you use gel in your hair at all, or
No,
Look at how much hair he has,
I know he's
dear.
got.
my hair.
He's so jealous right now.
So
My hair's
bold.
sponsored by Q-Tip. So
I
just
see.
in case
I
you're
see.
wondering. Yeah.
So, Gage, how old are you?
I'm 37.
37. And is your goal in life to be a
Senior pastor?
senior pastor, or do
Actu-
one of those cable channel TV things where you're in a stadium and all that? No.
No stadium. No Joel Osteen for me. So
God, where's he these days?
Is he still going, Joel
doing
Osteen?
I think he's still in Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was actually a senior pastor in Tennessee,
Okay.
but came down to be an assistant here with Ryan, partially because I just believe in what he's doing and appreciate what's happening at the church, and really honestly the job description. So I get to do all the fun stuff. I get to help plan mission trips. I get to work with the school and see all the fun things that are happening there, and I get to hang out with people. So I love having coffee or beverages, whichever, and hang out and talk about Jesus.
When you say beverages, what do you mean by
Well,
that?
we're Presbyterian, so it's really whatever beverage you prefer.
I see.
If you're a Diet Coke guy, if you're a bourbon guy, either
Ah.
one. Yeah.
Do you
I
guys-
was shocked when I went on my mission trip. I'm not Catholic. I mean, he was.
It was.
We went and there was like Jack Daniels.
not
I was
anymore.
like, wow.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. So
Yeah, according whatever your conscience prefers.
I
So
see.
when you guys do the service on Christmas Eve, that's a lot of people. If you have 400 or 500 people, where do you want them parking?
So parking is limited, so we would encourage everybody to carpool as you can, and of course it'll be at Bowditch Point. So you also want to bring a chair and a blanket.
Okay. Yeah, and you could
Yeah.
probably, I would guess, if you parked at Lynn Hall Park, you're going to need a ride down there or something, or
well,
jog.
it's not that far.
It's
I mean,
pretty much almost a mile.
oh, okay. Well,
But
I
does the
mean-
trolley still run down to the point?
Hmm.
I don't remember. You could-
That's
That's
a
a
good
good question.
point.
We'll have to look into that because that would be the easiest way to do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
what do you think is going to be the message? Does the message change year to year, or is it a standard Christmas Eve message?
Yeah, it's standard Christmas Eve message. Luke 2.
Oh
it's
my
with-
God, I
so
love Luke.
That's it.
That's my favorite book of the Bible.
There
No,
you
you
go.
guys are laughing at me because
Yeah,
you don't
for
think
sure.
I read
Okay,
well, I haven't read the Bible in a
well-
while, but Luke was always my favorite because
Okay,
it was
well
easy.
then
It was
why
easy.
don't you enlighten us as to what
So
Luke
what do you like
2
about
is?
It was a
Luke?
long time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
So as you
yeah,
know, I'm losing
yeah.
my mind. I'm
Can
losing
you
my
quote?
memory.
Yes.
No,
Go ahead.
when I
Spit
tried
that
reading
out there.
when I tried reading the Bible once, I started with Luke, so that's why
Yeah.
I loved it.
Mhm.
So
What do you like
I'm
about
going to
what
hell.
do you you're not.
I don't remember anything about Luke. How dare you ask me such tough questions? Come on.
She did it. She did it.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Oh.
it's what Christmas is all about.
No, he
right?
was a good guy. That's
Let
what I remember him being a good guy.
Yeah,
Well,
Sorry.
The beach could use a little. Go ahead.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Beach could use a little Luke.
the big thing is that Jesus came and he lived a life that we couldn't live and died the death that we deserved and raised from the dead. And that's what Christmas is all about, is Jesus coming and being with his people.
All right.
There you go. Well, I don't know what else you can say about that, but Kevin,
Good
give it a
luck
shot,
following.
Kevin.
I can put in a cool
Following
plug
that.
too.
Go ahead,
for,
man. Do it.
So our worship director, my friend Randy Thomas, and his wife Lori will be leading the music this year. And you might go, oh, Randy Thomas, who's that? But then you hear the song Butterfly Kisses.
Mm-hmm.
He's the writer of Butterfly Kisses.
Don't know what that
Nice.
song is. Is
You
that from
hear-
like the 60s?
That's
No.
from the 90s.
90s.
Yeah.
Butterfly Kisses.
Yeah.
Dave, do you remember
know
that?
song,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
You know the song "Why'd You Come In Here Looking Like That" by Dolly Parton?
Of
He
course.
wrote, he wrote that song. He was
Yeah.
Grammy winner, Dove Award
So he's
winner.
a millionaire.
I don't know. He took me to lunch a couple of times.
Yeah.
So you never know. You may get Butterfly Kisses and you may get Dolly Parton in the service. You
Okay.
gotta
You never
see what
know.
happens.
It's a mystery.
And
you know?
what you were saying before we got on the show, Kevin, was in the 15 or so years you've done the service, never rained.
Has never rained. Please God, has never rained, and the forecast this year is for no rain.
Yeah, we're excited.
We're gonna see if we can go 15 years with no rain.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. So it's 5:00 on Christmas Eve, which, Dave, is the day before Christmas, in case you were wondering. And you're going to try and time it
Is
where
it
you
4?
sing 5.
5
Oh,
p.m.
okay.
No, I said 24.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
When
I
you-
was like, wait a
uh-huh.
minute.
And you're going to try and finish the sunset with Holy Night. Is that what you said? Holy
Silent Night.
Silent
Silent
Night.
Night,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought, oh, Holy Night would have been a good one.
Wow.
It's a
I mean,
Christmas
either
song
one.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
well,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Ding, 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 a ling.
No, you
All
are
right.
so wrong.
Anything else you guys want to share about the church?
Well, listen, our services are Sunday at 10:45. Sunday school's at 9 a.m. We would love to have you come. We have a blended service, so some traditional, some contemporary music-wise, and we have a really great preacher. So we would love to have you guys.
Thank you. Go
And
ahead,
not
Kevin.
to correct
Go right ahead.
my sort of boss at 10:30.
What did I say? 10:45.
You said
I'm sorry.
10:45.
Yes,
You're on the
10:30.
old time.
You
I
don't want to
10:30.
be late for church. It's not a good look.
No.
It's not a good look.
No, you'll miss the opening music.
No,
which
because
is what I
everyone's
like.
going to turn around and go, hello.
Right. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on, and
Thank
good
you
luck
so
with the
much.
Thank you
service,
so much
and
for
we'll
having
see you
us.
on Christmas Eve.
Thank you.
All right. Big hand for our friends from the Christmas Eve church service at Bowditch. And our next topic is going to be the topic everybody's talking about on this island, in addition to Christmas Eve, of course, is Seagate. And first, I need to tell you about Eagle Eye Aluminum, one of our sponsors. Eagle Eye is also a sponsor of the event tonight. They specialize in seamless gutters as well as aluminum and vinyl soffit and fascia repairs or full replacement. He also does rescreen work. Because if your house was damaged by a storm and you had a lanai, a pool cage, you have some damage and you need it done right. You don't want some high school kid out in your backyard rolling that thing, making sure, you'll see all that flippity floppity black screen stuff sticking out. You need it done right. It needs to look nice. Because your houses, when this 17-story building is built, they're going to be worth a lot of money, and they're going to be looking at all the details of your house. So give Tom Coleman a call at 239. Nobody laughed at that. That is not funny. 239-340-1639. Eagle Eye Aluminum. And, of course, if you want to see the Green Bay Packers play, and they're kicking butt this year, you can go to the Parrot Key, which is the biggest Green Bay Packer bar in the area, known as Lambeau South. They're just on the other side of the bridge. They feature twin lobster tails for only $39.95 every Sunday, and seafood steamer pots on Wednesdays. They have an amazing chef that creates new weekly specials to keep things delicious and new. You could check out all the menus online at myparrotkey.com. That's myparrotkey.com. They have Sunday brunch from 9 a.m. to noon featuring Monster, Mary's, bottomless mimosas, and lobster eggs Benedict. Parrot Key, everybody. The Green Bay Packers play tomorrow, right? What do they play tomorrow? Saints? And that's a 1 o'clock game or a 4 o'clock game? You know? You're a Packer fan. All you do is text me about the Packers every time they're on. You can't remember who they're playing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next group of guests spoke at public comment probably more than once about the Seagate issue. Lori Webster, Tom Brady, and Carol Steyer, all residents of Fort Myers Beach, and they come with notes, and they come ready to tell us how they're feeling about things. We have one chair here, and dear, sit down, and we have 4 mics. Just grab whatever mic you have. No, I think we should be okay. Just don't. There we go. All right. Grab microphones, everybody, and just keep them nice and close. And, Tom, let's start with you. Actually, let's go ladies first. Let's just tell everybody, who you guys are and where you live and how long you've lived here. Why Fort Myers Beach?
I'm Carol Steyer. My husband and I bought
Nice and close.
here probably about 10 years ago, condo right across from the Wyndham and Pinchers. Sold that to his mom, so now she owns. We now live on Driftwood. We're retirees. We bought here because of the quaint Florida charm. We like the vibe. We like the laid-back location. We didn't want skyscrapers and high-rises and a lot of, running around and busyness. So that's why we bought here.
I'm Lori Webster, and I live on Denora Boulevard. We've been coming here for vacations for several years. Loved it. Decided to buy in a nice, quiet, residential neighborhood.
Gotcha. Tom?
Tom Brady. I live in 339 Medicine. And in 2017, we started looking as far south as the Keys, moved our way up to Marco, on to Naples, and said, that's not the life for us. Spent a couple days in Fort Myers Beach. The community, the diversity of the community impressed us, and we said, this is the place for us. This is where we want to retire and spend the rest of our lives.
So, Carol, what do you think about what's going on right now within the community? It seems like there's a lot of stress going on. There's a lot of sides. It's not something I'm used to seeing. Doing the show for 6 years, there have been other issues and controversies and things like that. But in the Margaritaville fight was kind of before we came in late on that, and I know it's kind of the same. But what is your perception of how things are going in the community?
Well, we haven't lived here on the island that long. We've owned here on the island for a long time, but we came and started hearing all the hoopla and everything right around the same time Margaritaville was built. Right now, we respect everyone's opinions, and on the developments, we support development. We just would like everyone to be sticking to the comp plan. I think that's where a lot of the angst is. Things are, especially Seagate now, it's gotten approved outside of the comp plan. I think a lot of the people that lived here, us included, came here because of the small town charm, and that it became a town with the comp plan in mind. And people wanted no more density, no more intensity, no more height. And to have this wall of concrete built right from your retirement home, which we will eventually have if London Bay gets approved, we will have the same thing, a big wall of concrete right across from our subdivision, or our neighborhood. We support the whole island, all the way from Pink Shell, Moss, down to whatever will maybe someday go on the Wyndham. I think as a whole, people don't want anything above and beyond comp.
So when you say that, are you saying 3 stories above flood?
Correct. Well, and I know there's a lot of terminology, FAR, intensity, density, and all that. Margarita is beautiful. They built to code. I don't I personally don't understand why Seagate can't build to code and still have a beautiful development within their right
They could.
and their height and their intensity and density. They have a boatload of property there that they could build beautiful condos and homes on.
They don't want to.
So go ahead. You
can
guys
I
jump right
speak?
in whenever you want. Yeah.
Can I speak on what your actual question was there, Ed? So the first thing that I wanted to say when I got here was the hate mail and the threats and all of that is not furthering the cause. It's not gaining support. It's
Correct.
causing division, and it's not helpful. And we need to be a community now more than ever.
Yeah, bless Scott Safford. Sorry, I dropped the honorific, and I'll probably do that for the rest of the council members. But bless his heart, he saw through this issue. And if you listen to him, he said, we can't go into this thing with half of the community one way and half of the community the other way. We need to get to some kind of consensus here. We don't want a divided island. Let's not do that, please.
Yeah, I think it's fine to disagree on it. There are other options that the objectors, I call them, are looking at if they want to continue to fight it. I think one fell through that we thought was going to be the lead way to try to delay the project, and that fell through. But the other thing is that, like, if somebody confronts, like somebody confronted Karen at a local restaurant, and it was just you don't need to be doing that. It's not. And I agree with what you said. It doesn't help what you're trying to accomplish, and I think there are other ways to do it. And the mayor has tried to calm people down. Greg has tried to calm people down. We've tried to, put stuff out to calm people down because they are angry. Like, people are angry with how this process went.
They're passionate.
Yes,
and
angry.
But you can be passionate and still be civil.
Yeah, let's get together and direct our anger at the developer where it belongs.
Okay, so Tom, I don't want to interrupt you guys at all. If there's anything that you want to add to the question, or anything that you want to jump in on at the beginning here, anything, Tom? Anything, Lori?
Well, I think that I get the sense of urgency. We all have a sense of urgency. I'm probably older than all the council members. I'll probably never live to see Seagate built. We need to move on with things. And Seagate's not a fast solution to our problems. It's the slowest solution to our problems. Ask any builder, they'll tell you to build a 17-story building takes a lot longer than it does to build a 4-story building. They have to put extra pumps in to pump the water to the top floor. It takes a lot more time to design, engineer, and build. Add to that, the builder has said he's going to build the portion on the Gulf first, open that up, then build one tower, then delay, then try to sell the units, then build the additional towers. We're talking years and years before this thing gets developed.
When you guys talked to the 3 town council members that voted yes, when you talked to them, what was their explanation to you about why they voted yes?
The main thing that came across to me in the meeting was money. They want revenue. But the thing that, and I don't remember a lot of things. I was very upset that day. But the thing of it was that a lot of the council members are not on the same page when it comes to the finances of this town.
It did sound confusing.
Every single council member had and the Frankie and
Joe.
Yeah, they all had different ideas on where we stand financially. You can't make educated decisions if you're not all on the same page as to where our finances are, right?
Yeah, the financial argument is broken. And I've said this since this project came before the LPA. You can have your opinions on this, but we have never had any facts. It has to be based on clear and substantial evidence in front of the town council. The worst thing is, John, I love you, man, but you can't say I'm voting on this because I'm stupid. I don't know how to vote, which he said. And because I don't know.
Did he say that?
Yes, he did.
He did.
I don't remember that.
And then point to Jim Dunlap. And I talked to Jim after the meeting. I said, Jim, you may be the expert on this, but you've never given testimony. I said, if you have testimony to give that the town's going to go bankrupt, then stand up and say that. So I think that John, bless his heart, took took the town into lawsuit, because you just can't say that. There's no evidence that we're going to go bankrupt. And that was your reason for voting for the project.
And we have the comptroller coming in and saying, we're good. We have Matt Caldwell coming in telling us that our tax base is good. So where are they coming from with the sky is falling? We have to build the biggest thing we can possibly put on the island right now.
So when you, I guess, just to ask my question again, when you guys talk to the 3 council members about this, how have you talked to them directly?
No.
Have you sent them emails, and
Yes.
have they responded to you by
Yes.
email? So what was the email response about why they voted yes?
Jim Adderhall responded to me, and I think basically there was a lot of good things. It was a sense of urgency, and he did reference, well, there were some other public benefits in there, but the public benefits are undefined, and because of that, I don't know how they can go forward. They've got the cart before the horse.
The entire project is undefined to be.
They should have, and came up, hey, the LPA asked for a joint meeting with the town council, which they had, to
Two.
talk about public benefits, and they never got around to it.
Yeah. Go
You know,
ahead.
when you were saying, kind of directing your anger at the developer comes in and they ask for what they want to ask, which is allowed in the comp
Right.
plan. And I hear what you're saying about sticking to the comp plan. Also in the comp plan is that caveat that they can ask for what they want. So I'm curious as to where that anger, where that feeling is directed at him
He just asked what he,
exclusively, or
Okay, so the developer, I think, skewed a lot of the facts, and I get that. He's in here to sell something. I think his lobbying of the town council members, the ex parte communications, that didn't belong in this whole discussion. And I think,
wait. What do you mean by that?
well, because if you really look at the quasi-judicial process, they're not supposed to take any ex parte communications. Now they can, and they can say, I had an ex parte, but when they do, they should discuss what those ex parte communications are, not say, I'm not going to tell you what I discussed with the developer. The developer shouldn't be doing that. That's more on the developer than it is on our town council.
Well, the rules are you are allowed to meet. Anybody is allowed to meet with the town council members individually, as long as the developer doesn't say, okay, John said this to me,
Right.
Karen, and so I've got this vote. That you can't do, but they are allowed. The rules allow them to meet individually.
I mean, the
not
county
saying it's
does
right,
that.
not saying it doesn't look bad, because
county
obviously
does that.
I think any government is allowed to do that. You're just not allowed to do it and daisy
You're not
chain it
al-
along the way.
Mhm, right.
But
That's the point, is we don't know what was said. We don't know.
so do you
that
guys think they
didn't
did
do
something
that.
nefarious?
No, not saying that.
Nefarious? No. Do I think that there was some conversation that, like you just said, well, when I talked to John, he said,
I don't know if Matt would do that, but I mean, I don't know that he did or didn't do it, but I don't.
That's right,
I
we
don't
don't know.
Yeah,
Well, Matt
I don't know if that would have had an impact on the other counselors either. I mean,
Matt got a positive vote the first one through. He came
Yeah.
on your show, and then he was like, I'm not going to change my position, because he thought he had it in the bag. So he thinks he has it in the bag. He goes up to the second meeting. He runs into a little bit of flack. Come on now, any executive ought to be able to handle the flack you get from Melody King. So what?
Wait,
So,
who?
Melody King.
Oh, that's right. She was in
So he gets a little upset. He calls our meeting. This is our fellow neighbors. He calls us a ship show. Well, I thought he was talking about the boat parade. No, it's not. Our town meeting is not, it's none of his business. And yet that's his opinion. He is not a good guy. I'm sorry. I know maybe he's your friend, not my friend. And he said, call me anytime. I'll talk to you. Well, he talked to you. He never listened to me. Did you ever change your opinion based on what I said? No, never. So
you're right. I mean, he had 4 votes. It turned out he had 3 votes, but he did have 4 votes. So when the mayor asked him to decide if he wanted to pull the project, I would have said no. I mean, who would say yes?
right.
He had 3 votes.
I get
thought at the time he had 4. I'm just saying.
I get it.
Yeah.
Did
Point
you,
of clarification, though, he's not our friend. Just
Well,
so did you see him at the end of the meeting? Okay, after the last vote was taken, did you see what happened to the meeting?
well, let me clarify something. We don't go out drinking together, but we have known him for a long time because he built our gym. His company was called Margaritaville Construction at the time. He built our gym, and that's how we knew him and his father from back in the day. So no, we've never gone out together or hung out with his family, but that's how we know him.
Okay, so at the end of the meeting, they won. Great. So Did you see the end of the Michigan Ohio State game?
He planted the
When
flag.
players ran on the field and tried
Yeah.
to stick the flag in the field.
Yeah.
Even for Michigan fans, that was a crass behavior.
Yes.
So this guy,
Did he have a flag?
This guy came at the end of the meeting. He's got a photographer out there. They're sitting in the seats and they're taking pictures and high fiving at the end of our meeting. Well, very
I
good
didn't
that
see
you
that.
won and the rest of us lost. That guy is not a class executive.
Why do you? Okay, I guess the other thing is the density. The argument has been, and I think Jim kind of. I'm not going to speak for Jim. I think part of the reason Jim approved it was that he didn't want the buildings to all be kind of 3 stories, 4 stories, completely covering all the property, including the beachside property. So Matt came up with these 5 other bigger buildings where apparently there's going to be a view corridor and the whole thing. And so so that they are still under the density or at the density, but they're just not building it. You guys would prefer 3 or 4 story buildings plastered all over the 10 acres. That's what you would
Correct.
prefer.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Why? What's the difference? You still can't see the beach.
Well, I'm going to let Lori.
Yeah, go ahead, Lori. You're not
respond,
saying
because she's a
anything.
direct neighbor.
So
Come on.
everyone has referenced, Ocean Harbor and how big it is. And this is bigger and it's in my backyard. And the argument, and I'm going to sidetrack here for just a second because it was something that you kind of started with the red coconut and the reference that the density is less than what the red coconut was. I live on Denora. Campers come in, they park their campers, and they camp. They're not driving their campers in and out. They're not taking their cars out and driving up and down the island. They camp. These condos are not going to be campers. They're 3,000 square feet. Why? 137 3,000 square foot condos.
But
Why?
I guess at that point, that almost seems like it's outside of the consideration. He has 137 units,
it's
whatever.
density.
Right. But he's allowed 137, whatever, or 250 to 300 hotel units when he uses the multiplier. So 137 units. I mean, if that's reality. He can use 137 units. I mean, and some would say that the red coconut never really followed the 137. It was more than that. But I hear what you're saying. It's less driving. It's less cars. People are just sitting there. And so I get it.
So from my perspective, and again, I want to support the whole island, but we're looking long term because London Bay is going to be our new neighbor.
Yeah.
I mentioned this at public comment. They have a lot of really good developers, or engineers, architects on Seagate's payroll. It doesn't have to be a flat wall of 3 and 4 story buildings, just like they're doing with the up and down and the staggered. They can have staggered buildings all across that 10-acre property, still meet their density and intensity, but not ruin the view for all of their neighbors.
But if they staggered the height and you want to stick with the comp plan, it would have to be 3. Like everything
Yeah.
would have to be 3.
No, they're
Right.
entitled to more than 3.
well,
I'm just saying
with
she's-
public benefit.
Yeah.
Show me the public benefit, though.
and they're to us, I don't know about you guys, but to me, the public benefit that they're offering for what they're asking is nil.
Well, I think when you
They have a walkover that no one is going to be allowed to use except for their
Exactly.
residents.
And a private beach club that we have to pay for. That's not a public benefit.
I
And a
think
back view corridor that is the road, which is Donora. That's the only view corridor back there.
when you compare the public benefit that Margaritaville gave the town compared to
Yeah, there's no
what's
question.
on the board there, it's a
Absolutely.
huge
No
difference
question.
for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so the other thing that I wanted to bring up was I think that Seagate got direction from the town not to do those, not to mass those buildings in that 10-acre property. And so when they said
Do you
that,
know that?
I don't think
I've never heard
I-
that, so I don't know.
I think
it
that
was said.
I think they did.
I think it was said.
I agree with
yeah,
you.
I think
All
that
right.
they didn't want.
I think the other thing is Seagate, when they build up, they're offering everybody a view.
Yeah,
If they do
Exactly.
across the thing,
Right.
no view.
they're not going to get the view.
Not
so
getting 4
it's
million.
I
sad.
don't believe
I don't
that they
have a
would have
view.
done it the other way anyways. I
Right.
mean,
To answer
so I
your
think that's-
question
yeah.
that's
about
a nil point is
Right.
what I'm
if it's
saying.
3 stories, you still can't see. But with 17 stories, I can't see the sky.
Yeah. No, it's a tall building, that's for sure. I mean, I have to be honest with you, and I've said this 1,000 times. I can't believe that there wasn't any pushback. Like, I know there was some discussion about they've been negotiating this and they've been Matt has made some adjustments to it. Jim wanted a bathroom. You know, they did different things that are changing around, and there were some changes. This wasn't the exact plan that they came up with, but I never expected myself even that 17 would be the number they came out. Like, if they would have said, hey, we like what you proposed, but can you make it 12 or can you make it as high as Diamond Head? I mean, or can you make it 15 or something? I was even shocked by that. And I know those people, those five sitting up there, like there was almost seemed like there was no negotiation from the height of those buildings. And everybody on the beach knows they're afraid, like me, they're afraid of heights down here. That's why the town was incorporated. It was over the height thing.
Carol and I were talking about this before the meeting, that, everybody comes in asking for the moon,
Yeah.
but nobody expects to receive the moon.
Well, a great example of that is Ben at Moss Marine.
Well, or here, they came in with a big, huge plan and scaled it way back.
I think Ben almost said, listen, this is my plan. And I guess you got to come in that way. If you come in and say, well, I've got A, B, and C, they're going to say, well, show us all three of them. But Ben did go back to the drawing board and toned it down and come up with a new plan. But I don't know what I missed on the Seagate thing. It just seemed like there was no pushback on the height.
Don't you think that Matt was as surprised as anyone after that first vote? He did not expect to get that the first time around.
I don't think I would say he didn't expect it. I don't think he was 100% sure that he was getting it. And the other thing the town has to figure out is you get the LPA and the staff that are recommending no, and the town council is recommending yes. I mean, why? I know maybe it doesn't matter, but it just seems like nobody's on the same page down there.
Well, it's the email that I sent to the town council after the meeting. They don't seem to be on the same page as far as the town's finances or the direction of the town.
On that note, talking about if they're not following the comp plan, they don't have an awareness of the financials, or they're not on the same page about that. We've heard a lot of comments about, well, then let's go back to the county. How do you guys feel about that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Okay. I just was asking. I mean, we've seen those comments on.
Why not? I mean,
yeah.
Because we have some support. If we
okay.
cut the ties, then we're swinging in the wind.
Right. Yeah. You'll get buildings everywhere for sure.
Well, I think we just, in a desire to make things happen quickly, that the town council moved to make things happen. And that's the message they were hearing. And they were hearing, don't put things on the bay, on the Gulf side, push it back to the bay. The problem with this property is it's not on the bay. It's 1,000 feet from the bay. There's a park behind it. And so now you've got a giant multiple 17-story buildings in the middle of the island. I mean, the middle, not north to south. I mean, in the middle from the Gulf to the bay. That's where those buildings sit. Whereas Ocean Harbor, whatever it is all the way back to the bay. Completely different situation.
What do you guys think the next step for the objector group is going to be?
I don't know. I thought we still had a chance with the reconsideration vote, and I was told today, no, we don't have that option anymore. So I really don't know what our next steps are, but hopefully we do have next steps to get this.
I think we still have
reversed.
the option, but I think if you look at
What option?
the reconsideration
I don't think
vote,
you do. I don't think there was the governor signed a law in early 2023 that said you cannot take land development. I know I'm going to fudge this up, but you can't take land development to a referendum anymore. They don't want you guys to be able to do that.
No, what I'm talking about is getting one of the three who voted for it.
I see. Yeah.
To change their vote.
Maybe who would you guys target?
John.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Zero chance of that happening.
Correct.
Dear, you don't know.
That's
I'm
what
just
I was going to
guessing.
say. We
Yeah.
still have that option.
Yeah.
It's still a possibility, but I don't see any one of the three of them changing their vote.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess
So
anything
what
can
would they
happen.
do?
You don't
Like
think
how-
Jim? You don't think Jim could?
That would be who I
convinced to
would
look
kind of.
at it?
I think I would. I don't know. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I have no idea. I can't predict anything when it.
Well, Jim said before Ian, I never would have voted for this. And I don't know how. So he's a judge. I don't know how, as a judge, you can say that the law changed, so my interpretation changes. Nothing changed pre-in, post-in as far as the law is concerned. And yet he said he would have changed his mind. And I'm trying to figure out how you can rationalize that. Now, Jim did say that he likes the clustering away. That's the message that he heard, and that's what he communicated to the developer. And he thought he got concessions from the developer to do that. So
One of the things that the Tropical Shores Way people, I know I'm going back a little, their town was thinking about putting the mooring field
Exactly.
building behind the town hall, and the Tropical Shores Way people rallied the neighborhood together, and I know this isn't the same kind of
Yeah,
thing,
it's
but then they
not.
were like, there's no way, we're protecting the neighborhood. They don't want the boat dumping duty or whatever the hell the thing does in that building behind there. And they said, no, wait, it still hasn't been built. Or when the town was thinking about building that giant building in between Nervous
But that's
Nellies
the
and Snug
town.
Harbor.
That's
Yeah,
not a
well,
developer.
what I'm saying is those two issues really rallied the community, and they showed up to meetings, and they spoke their minds, and the town changed their mind. When John came on the show, when he said he was unimpressed by the turnout, I mean, I wish he wouldn't have said that, because there aren't too many issues that turn out that many people. 25 might not sound like a lot. You got to add in the emails. You got to, most of the people were against it. It's not unimpressive. People take time out of their day. They show up to the meeting. It's not easy being a public speaker in front of something like that.
Did
It
you
was
request
impressive.
all the emails?
I did.
And
I
are you going to
requested.
add up
Oh,
the
I don't know
the
what.
pro and
You see, the thing is, and I know there are
because
people.
there's not a real good number on that either.
No, I think what would have been nice if they could have done the reconsideration, because then you would have had to get a certain number of signatures, and then you could have really seen a vote
Yeah.
on the project about what is 50-50. Because I do think there's some support for that on the south end. I do. I've gotten emails from people
Yeah,
who said,
the
we
other
want
thing
it. We
that-
want it.
The other
Build
thing
it.
that John said at that same conversation was that the petition that was presented, he didn't put any stock in that because it was change.org and he didn't know how that works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know the petition. I didn't see it. I don't know how many names are on it. You guys, how many names are on it? 800? 900. Okay. So, there are people on the south end that don't want to be vocal because it's gotten pretty ugly, but they are in favor of it. I mean,
And again,
because it doesn't impact them as much, I think.
I don't think any of us are against development.
Right.
I think we support the development. We know that there are going to be developers, but again, stick to the plan. Stick to the comp plan.
But
That's all we're asking for.
Carol, when you say stick to the comp plan, they are. They really are.
No,
Boo.
not
You guys, I'm
negative.
sorry, but you guys are wrong about that.
No,
The
Well,
comp plan and the LDC say
can
what they say.
ask-
Right.
They can
They
ask.
That's
Right,
being that's
right,
being
right.
fair. Then they
But
can ask.
They
They
can
didn't
ask.
pay the fee to ask, which is public benefit.
Oh, I see what you're. Well, that's all subjective. That is subjective.
I don't
and
think
therein
it is,
lies the
Ed.
problem.
Yeah, it is too subjective.
They have to define it.
Yeah.
You can't do this without metrics.
Right.
So the decision becomes arbitrary.
Well, that's the whole problem with this process. You have a comp plan, you have an LDC, and then you have a back door that this development agreement or the CPD, and you allow people in the back door, and then everything becomes subjective.
Well,
It depends on who's on the council at that time.
Which
True.
is,
That's
which
true.
is part
Yeah.
of the problem. We have a development agreement, which is a great idea for small business. We crammed the biggest development ever through a development agreement, and even the town attorney says it was half baked. So we should have run a little project through that first, found
But-
the flaws in it,
Yeah.
and then we could have run
But
another
the problem
project
with
through it.
something like that is you can't say, okay, we're only going to let you do it. We're not going to let you do it.
Right.
You have to be fair to everybody. And they figured it out.
And what does that say about the company?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what it says about the company is they won. They're building 5 gigantic buildings on a 10-acre property. They figured it out, right?
Exactly.
I mean, what does it say about your town council?
Here's another thing that
Tom?
that we've kind of glossed over is we don't know what they're going to put there. This is
You
a
don't know
concept.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a concept.
And Matt has said he wants to work with the community. I know you guys don't believe that, but maybe you do. But he has said he wants to work with the community. He does want to be a member of the community. I know there's no feeling of that right now, but he has said that. And what would that mean to you guys? What would working with the community mean? You had your chance and you lost the election, bro.
He
I'm
listens.
gonna have you on for a few
He
minutes. after.
listens.
Yeah, he does listen.
He just doesn't hear.
Okay, fair enough. So the other thing, is she talking about
Just
you or Matt? So the other thing is you brought it up, like London Bay has a proposal for 17 stories on the beach side. Now, the
Correct.
argument against that from the town side is going to be it's on the beach side.
Right.
And he's got a problem with the canal, and the people he's
Yep.
going to fight the residents on the canal. He hasn't announced what he's going to do with that, or maybe he has, and the people don't like it. But I mean, he's got a better chance of getting 17 now.
Absolutely. That's why we have to stick together as a town. Doesn't matter if it's the north end of the island, the south end of the island, because now the floodgates have been opened.
Mhm. Yeah.
And unfortunately, London Bay will probably get what they want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you get a restaurant on the beach again, is that okay? Is that
Not
good
for-
enough
not
public
for
benefit?
A solid wall of concrete on
Yeah.
the beach. No, it's not.
Is there-
or canal traffic?
Would
No.
there? I'm just going to ask this. Would
Go
there
ahead.
be what would be enough, or is there not enough public benefit to justify either one of those developments, in your guys' opinion?
Oh, of course not.
I agree.
Okay.
There's not enough public benefit.
Hard
What-
no.
In order to get
So it wouldn't matter if they had it written in the plan, in the charter, or in the LDC. There's just not enough.
In my opinion, no.
Okay.
No,
So-
I think if we could get that in the charter, then we had something to base it on. Right now, there's nothing to base it on.
Mhm.
what you're talking about, the public benefit.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that is you're never going to have the same amount of trades on a piece of property. Like
Right.
Right.
Tom had when they accumulated, Tom and John, when they accumulated this property, they had this property out here that they could donate to the county for this roundabout
Right.
debacle. What the hell they're building out here? Then they had the parking lot that they could give to the town.
It is
And so there's-
subjective
yeah.
on the project. And the other thing is, over time, things change on what people want, depending on what they already have.
Yeah.
So
If you saw the project, well, you've seen the project that Seagate wants to build, what would you consider enough public benefit to warrant that?
I don't
Nothing.
think there is anything.
Well, that's
what
not
they
fair.
said.
You guys said if there was enough public benefit, he'd
I
be able
didn't.
to.
Not for 17
No,
stories.
I agree. Not for 17
I'm not against
stories.
height.
Yeah.
I would not begrudge them towers on that property. I would
How
not.
high?
That's hard to say. And why is it hard to say? Because they haven't designed anything. We don't know how tall the ceilings are. So I can't say 10 stories would be okay and they put 12-foot ceilings in there.
So
But-
how many feet up in the air total? Sorry.
I would
but you
say
got-
nothing taller than Diamond Head. I think Diamond
Okay.
Head is as tall as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is a fair argument. Diamond Head was the reason that you guys incorporated.
Right.
I mean, and I hate picking on Diamond Head. I love Diamond Head. I mean, imagine if they weren't there, where would we do the race, Tom? I don't know.
Diamond Head's an easy one. I think that if you really wanted to show us, give us all the property on the Gulf side.
Okay.
That's
a
a good trade.
And that
I'll
would
do that.
They would feel some pain.
They would
Like
feel-
all
they
the
need
all
to
the
feel some pain. Give
all
that to me.
the property on the beach side, and you turn it into a park.
Yeah, I won't say never, never, but it would have to be something like blows your mind. That big of a deal that
Yeah.
everybody would say that an average person would say, "Wow, that was a good. That I see why you did that."
As someone who would look out my front door and see,
Different story
no,
for you.
I don't think that even the whole Gulf side justifies 17 stories.
Interesting. So go ahead, dear.
No, I'm shivering.
So do you guys think that you would like to see any of the town council members recalled in a recall election?
Yes.
Okay. Who? Well, you only have two options
Right.
now.
Well, actually, right now, both of them, John and Karen.
Yeah.
I mean, John vocally said that he was not, I think he used the word dumb. I'm a dumb person.
He said stupid.
He's not a smart
Stupid.
man.
It's not a
I got to go back and listen to that. Did
Yeah,
he say that?
you know,
don't
you-
remember.
you
I think he
can't-
was joking. He was. I mean, I say
I-
that about
well,
myself, and I'm
can't-
serious.
Can't joke.
But
I think he
when you
was
say it,
joking.
it's true.
But you didn't say it in a
Wait
public
till the
meeting
end of the
Yeah.
show.
No, I say it every weekend. in a
justifying
public.
your vote.
And you can't, yeah, exactly. You cannot make an educated vote on something so important to the island and be that, I was going to say lackadaisical or whatever the words are, but thank you.
I think the thing that really I don't like about the development agreement too is that it puts Andy in a very awkward position. Like Andy has to make a recommendation because he's the one negotiating with the developer. It's not. I think the staff is involved, obviously, but it's really between the town manager. I think the development agreement was put together so that they could move the process along faster for smaller businesses, and so they wouldn't have to pay these gigantic fees and then get denied down the line and lose all that money. And then Andy's sitting there, and I think he recommended approval for financial reasons. Like
Exactly.
the town
He
needs
did.
the money. That's 5 years away. those
That was so
buildings.
Right.
surprising to hear
Yeah.
him say that.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure that Andy did. Frankie did.
I think.
Oh, yeah,
No,
you're
I
right.
think. I
You're
think.
right.
It
Uh,
wasn't
Frankie.
Andy. It was Frankie.
Right.
Okay. Well, I
That's
mean,
right.
same thing, kind of.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Yeah.
Sarah looked to me like she was very uncomfortable with this process for this size of development.
yeah, I don't think she likes the development
when
agreement.
they pushed her, she said, "Well, I don't have much to go on here because there isn't much in the plan." So
Yeah.
I think it put her in a very awkward position. Also,
Yeah, I do have to say this is not a great starting position with any new developer. Like I know back when Margaritaville, what it was called Grand Resorts back then, it was gigantic. Has anybody seen the video on the Grand Resorts thing? It really was gigantic. You should go back and watch that video. But what Tom did was like they did community meetings, and they had like I know a bunch of people from the community got together. He's trying to get the community flipped. And I think eventually he got everybody flipped on his side, and then got the council to agree with it because it was gigantic, the first one. And
comparing Tom to Matt is like day and night.
I'm not comparing them.
Tom lives here.
yes,
Mhm.
true. Yeah.
And Tom listened to the people. He heard us. There's a difference between that and what we do now is we talk, and then somebody goes away and does whatever they want to do.
Mm.
So there's a vast difference between those two people.
So what is the plan here? What are we doing next? Tom Brady.
Why
Go
would,
through life with that name's got to be
I
interesting.
know. I know.
What do you think? What are you? Who's leading the charge here? Who's the ringleader of this crew?
I think there's enough irregularities in the process, and I think that it's going to go to litigation. It needs to go to litigation. I think the result of that, though, it just comes back to the town. And my wish would be that Jim or John say, okay, we kind of rushed this through. We were trying to do what's best for the community. Recognize now that there's some things we could have done better. Let's just pull this back. Let's do some more work on public benefit, and then we can proceed forward. We don't need to rush this thing because it's probably going to be delayed anyway. Let's make it right. Let's get more people involved. Let's have the town hold these meetings rather than the developer. The developer can say they had meetings, everybody agreed. They don't take names. They don't do anything. Of course, they're going to come out of their meetings and say, everybody agreed. Let's have the town run those meetings. That's our town. We don't need to relinquish our authority to a builder to tell us what's going on.
Yeah. I just so you guys know, I actually called Diamond Head to see if I could set up a meeting with Karen, John, and Jim at the head table, and just let the public ask questions of the three of them. Of course, you would have to advertise that, and it would have to be noticed that it was 3 council members, but they've already voted on it. So I don't know how legal that would be, but I have tried to set that up so that you guys, I don't know that they would do it. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't know that the 3 of them would sit there and want to take questions because some of it's been pretty nasty. And so maybe they would. I mean, you would think they would because everything can't be roses all the time. Sometimes tough things come up, but I would think that would be a great forum for people. Of course, I would have security there. Dave would be there as my security guard, not me, but you know what I'm saying? I think that would be an interesting exercise.
But why would they
that's a
want to do
terrible
that?
thing to
I
say.
agree. I
What
don't
do you
think
mean?
they're going to do it.
That
Jim
they-
would be the only one doing it because he's the
that
only
they
one that
wouldn't-
comes
That
out
they
and
wouldn't
speaks.
come.
Why they wouldn't? Why would they do
wouldn't
that?
come?
Right.
I think that I don't know why they would do it.
They
I don't
should.
know why they wouldn't do it. They've always been open to being on the show in the past,
No, they should. Yeah,
Right.
They should come,
And-
and I don't know why they wouldn't.
but I
come.
think it might be too controversial for them to
Well,
want to
I
answer.
think one of the reasons they might not come is from some of the emails and comments and
Yeah.
confrontations that have
Yeah,
been
they don't
directed
need
to
that.
them. I think if you could find a way,
Right, I
not
would
you.
hammer down. I would lay
I
down
think
the
if
hammer.
there could be a way to do it, maybe virtually questions.
No, it needs to be in
But-
person. It needs to be personal. It needs to be personable, and it needs to be controlled so that people
And
aren't.
how are you going to control that?
You cut people's mic off and you ask them to leave, and you actually have the
And
deputies
then
there.
everyone's going to be going, I didn't get my free speech.
No, well, I mean, I think the majority of the people are not
I
nutso.
think so.
I think the
but-
majority of the people are like these 3. They're normal people. They're not going to lose their,
I think it's good that you give these people their right to public speak, and that everybody's opinion.
yeah, as long as
Yeah.
they keep it.
yeah.
Well,
You
yeah,
got to
if
keep
Not
it.
cordial.
I did not hear. I heard.
Well,
you
they
know,
can even be angry, but
I
you
heard
just
some-
can't be
yes.
threatening.
Well, I didn't hear threats, but
Well, I mean, the email threats and the
Yeah.
verbal
no,
ones.
I didn't
Yeah.
see the email.
Yeah.
No, I thought the meeting was, and I did invite Cassius on. He's very loud, but he was respected. He respected the council, but he was loud. He's passionate about it. He works on Saturday, so he couldn't make it. Did invite Barbara Hill on. Barbara's, a longtime member of the community, and was busy this weekend. So, I mean, you got Anita against it. You got the former mayor, Ray Murphy, against it. You got a lot of people that were around during the incorporation. I mean, it's just not a smooth sailing project. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But see if I can organize that meeting and invite them. All you can do is invite them. If they say no, then they say no. At least there was an opportunity to explain in an open, because when you're doing public comment, you can't go back and forth with the council members. You have to now that's just the rule. You speak public comment, then they have their chance to discuss it. And you guys in the audience just have to listen to it and let them vote. Otherwise, there'd be no order at all at those meetings.
One thing that I don't think has been addressed nearly enough, and maybe kind of the answer to what you just asked, is the environmental impact of this whole development right there against the preserve.
Well,
It's a good
it's
point.
so odd hearing kids. I never hear kids anymore. I'm usually getting notes in the mail. Oh, it's time to go to a funeral again. That's what happens when you get to be our age. But it's so nice to hear the
or
kids.
you're ready for your colon re-exam.
Oh, thank you for
Yeah,
bringing
you're
that
welcome.
up.
You're due.
Appreciate
You're
that.
due. To your point, and I have heard that a lot of times. People have asked about and I don't know because I'm not a developer, clearly, but is that something that has to happen before it gets approved, or is that something that's going to have to happen when they get all of their permits and stuff to go
I think
through?
it's part of their next steps.
Right.
Like with
So there's a
the traffic
chance
study
that
and
some of
all
that
the-
would have to be, some of the plan might have to be changed if they were unable to secure.
Yeah, but that's not going to
Permits.
impact the 17 stories. I mean, I'm sure they've built these buildings before. It's not like
I
they
don't know.
wouldn't be able to
I don't
figure
know.
that out, right? I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a developer. I mean, I would think if you're smart that you would know you're proposing something that's going to be okay, but I don't know.
So, any final thoughts from you guys that you want to talk to other people out there about what you might have planned, or is there a community meeting, or is there anything you want to share? Tom, first.
Well, I think that one of the things that confused me was the developer's assessment of the view corridors, which seems that there is no view corridor to the bay. View corridors are legally defined. They have to be to a landmark or something significant. And they fibbed on the ones that were on the Gulf side. It's a 90-foot corridor. It's not 120. They're going to elevate the pool 3 feet. They're going to put 3-foot lounge chairs on. They're giving up. And it was interesting. You heard the developer at the end, of the developer's planner at the end said, what we think is it's a 1 foot for 1 foot trade, which is really interesting. I don't know where they got that from, but for every foot of view corridor we give you, we get a foot of elevation. And they kind of figured it out. Well, I don't know if that sets the standards for all future developments or not, but in lieu of us defining what those view corridors are, or what public benefit is, you're going to have a developer do it. And I think we just need to take it back, get in front of that, and establish our own standards.
I
Carol,
agree. I agree.
Anything else?
Well, I totally agree with that. I'd like to just throw something out there for maybe tomorrow's discussion with Jim and future discussions. We don't
Jim?
have to- aren't you having Jim on tomorrow?
No, just so everybody knows, I did invite Jim on for next Sunday because the
Oh,
mayor
got it.
can't make it. Tomorrow will be the mayor, but Jim's busy with family around the holidays. So
Okay.
tomorrow's show will be with the mayor at Wahoo Willie's.
Okay. I've always asked this. I've even sent you a number of emails after Ian. Why isn't the town focusing more on all the condos that still aren't up and open? They can have revenue from those condos if they would just help.
Well, what
those
else could the
poor-
town do, though? It seems like the condo
There's-
folks are working as hard as they can to
But
get their
isn't there-
elevators and
Isn't there like government funds that could help them get these places
FEMA.
back?
FEMA's been a
open
big help down
faster?
here.
Jim wants commercial properties. Maybe some of these first floor units that keep getting washed out from hurricanes can be turned into commercial spaces at the bottoms of these HOAs. I think there's a lot more opportunities to get money in here than just approving these developments.
I'm going to go back to what I started with. We have to do this together. We can't be divisive. We can't be calling names. We can't be throwing stones. It's not helpful. We need to work together and figure out a plan.
Do you think we'll see as much public comment at the next town council meeting, even though it's not on the agenda? You think people will keep going? Or have they just kind of thrown their hands up and saying, we're filing a lawsuit? That's what we're doing.
I hope we don't throw our hands up.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tom, you were ready to say something?
I think I'm going to be that guy at every meeting.
All
that
right.
Stands up in the back of the room and has something to say about it.
No problem. I love seeing the people come out to those meetings, or whatever the topic is. It's nice to see the community involved in whatever is going on. So hopefully that'll keep up, because there's a lot of projects coming up in the next 2 years. You guys, one last question. You mentioned if you were going to try and flip somebody, it would be John or Jim. Why not Karen?
Because think about what her comment was at this meeting. She didn't even justify her vote. Her comment was, I think you already know what I think.
Okay.
She didn't, we were there, and I watched all the members. When I spoke, everybody looked at me except for Karen. She didn't even give any of us the time or day. I just don't get her.
Yeah, she seems disconnected.
Very
I don't know
disconnected.
why. And there's a lot of body language involved in there. And that's why we would say that. Now, we could be completely wrong. I could be completely wrong, but that's just a gut feel.
All right, Carol, Tom, and Lori, big hand for our locals talking about the big news. Thank you guys for coming on. Greg Skasny is here. We're going to talk to Greg for 5 minutes after I tell you about our two final sponsors. Alex King, everybody. You all know Alex King. You're going to see Alex King dressed in an Afghan tomorrow morning on our show at Wahoo Willie's, because he's a big sponsor of the Afghan thing that FMB Strong does. So that will be tomorrow before the mayor's show. And if they sell 300 tickets to that event before the end of the year, I will wear one for an entire hour on the show. But I bet you thought I lost my place, Greg. Alex King, he's living the dream, and he's helping you live your dream. He'll elevate your lifestyle. Alex not only is a great real estate agent with a great company here on the beach, he also gives away money like it's water, throwing fins here and hundreds there, and taking care of local 501c3s. The Alex King Group can be reached at 239-219-0336, 239-219-0336. And of course, our final, last but not least, sponsor of the show, Michael Stewart. Michael Stewart is a structural engineer, and you know what the deal is. If you want a house that doesn't fall down, you call Michael Stewart, because he builds houses that stand straight up for the entire lifetime of a home. Because the last thing you want to do is come home after a storm and see pieces of your house in your backyard. Boink. He can do structures for residential and commercial, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, and he's just a damn nice guy. Michael Stewart, give him a call. He's sitting in his car right now waiting for you to call, 239-292-7670 or mstewartpe.com, mstewartpe.com. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. What number you got? 3. There you go. Greg Skasny. Can we get a big hand for Greg? He's making quite a name for himself on the beach.
I'm just a resident.
And you used to have a house.
I used to have a house.
What's going on with your house?
You
don't need to tell me the
details. You would need a whole nother hour. You would need a whole nother hour. I hired another company to do the house. They have fired me because of some other things that's going on with that company. So I'm doing it myself. So
you're building it yourself.
I'm moving my permit to owner builder. John Koss, who owns Beach Boys AC, is one of my best friends, and he's going to help kind of manage the process with me and get my family back in a home.
Yeah,
Hopefully
you've been out of your house since Hurricane Ian, and
yes,
are you back
in? I'm in my neighbor's house, which I'm have to leave here pretty soon. We're probably gonna go back into camper for a little bit. And I'm gonna probably rent a house a couple doors down.
How long did you live in a trailer?
10 months.
10 months. Oof.
10
Crazy.
months. My wife, my son, and 2 dogs.
So you talk about how you become friendly with Matt Price at Seagate, and you talk to him all the time. So how come you can't
Not
get
all
him?
the time.
Well, you talk to him a lot.
I
talk to him more than Wink does.
Matt's I don't. Matt is I respect Matt. Let's put it that way.
You don't want to say he's your friend, which you were trying not to say.
I don't want to say. I mean, I don't go drink beers with the guy, right? Not that I wouldn't, but you know. And I've told him after his first vote, I had almost an hour long conversation with him after the meeting, and I was very candid with him of why I don't want what he's doing here. I think he is ruining our neighborhood. You know, again, I agree with what Mr. Brady said. You know, trying to compare him to what Torkinsons did. The Torkinsons are residents here, right? They do a lot for our community.
So I want to ask you some point blank stuff, and I'm not saying I didn't ask them, but so you say they're ruining your neighborhood. They bought a piece of property, and they put together a plan, and the town council approved the plan. How are they ruining your neighborhood?
So again, where that whole neighborhood is bought. Like
I don't mean that. They followed the process, and they got approved what they got approved. So how is it them?
Where I built a house to look out over by the Gulf, and now when I sit in where I spent a ton of money to sit on my outside patio, I'm going to see it. This building. People don't understand how tall 255 feet is.
No, I get all that. I get all that.
How massive that is. It's literally going to be the only thing you see in the sky. It's ugly. It's nasty, and it's not what our town was. But how are okay? So you're saying they're ruining your neighborhood because the buildings are so high? Yeah, they're massive.
All right. So when you talk to the 3 council members that voted yes, what are they telling you about why they voted yes?
Well, I've only talked to a few.
There's only 3. Okay. So what does Karen say?
I've only spoke to her very briefly.
All right. Well, what did she say?
They're nice guys.
What?
They're nice. They're nice guys. They're nice people.
That's the reason for her approval.
Yes.
Okay. What about that was the only thing. I want to make sure.
There's been a lot of, again, I'm not condoning any any of the things that are happening in the emails. We need to be civil about it. So I saw her, and so that aside, I just haven't had the in-depth conversation with her. I did have one with Jim Adderholt. I think he's wrong. I told him this is on his shoulders. He needs to bring this back up for reconsideration. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth. You cannot say I'm going to approve Seagate because of the density, and then an hour later vote for a project that is twice the density. That's talking out of both sides of your mouth. And then you can't
be specific so people know what you're talking about.
So Neptune, right? He voted for Neptune an hour later after voting for Seagate, saying I'm voting for Seagate. I'm giving him this just disgusting height because they're keeping to their density, and we don't want any more density, and we're really afraid someone's going to come in and build a hotel, which they won't. Again, no one's going to build a hotel at 3 above flood. They have the power. The town needs to understand that we are in the negotiating seat. We don't have to accept what they come to the table with. But then again, that's your reasoning because they're below density or at density, and then the next vote say, well, I'm going to vote for Neptune, and they're double the density because I don't want condos there because condos are cold or whatever the case may be. Well, you just voted for the biggest condo thing. So those circular arguments and talking out of both sides of your mouth is something that our residents are not stupid. We can see it. We understand that. There's no logical reason in my mind to vote for Seagate. None. Absolutely zero.
What do you think the public benefit is that you got?
We got no public benefit. That's the issue. And again, and this is what people need to think about. And you really need to read the comp plan. And I told Jim he needs to reread the comp plan. I've read it many, many times. When you have 2 people that wrote the comp plan, that got up in the meeting and spoke and said, this is not consistent with the comp plan. They wrote it. I'm not sure how much more you need to go along with that.
So Jim's, some of Jim's argument is, before Hurricane Ian, he would not have voted for that. After Hurricane Ian, all bets are off. It's a different life.
We still have the same comp plan. Like Mr. Brady said, the laws hasn't changed. If you want to build those huge structures there, do the right thing. Change the comp plan with the public input and the process that's in place, so it's consistent with the plan that we have. We haven't done that. We've rushed it through, and now you see people are upset, and they have the right to be upset. I understand that no one wants to take flack, but listen, if you're not being listened to, people are going to be upset. This is a huge moment for our island, and it's a defining moment. And if we don't stand up and fight against it, then good luck. Yeah. We'll be Clearwater Beach. But I don't care what they say.
There's only 5 or 6 pieses of property right now.
But that's not true. You can look at other properties that are for sale. But here's the thing: you can look at what Lahaina Resort said. Just right before after the first Seagate vote, that hey, we're going to lower the price of our property a little bit because now developers are getting excited. They're going to come and ask for all that. I don't know how you tell them no. I don't know how do you tell them? How do you tell London Bay no? London Bay can actually be built, not as tall as they want, but they can build a big building there. That's in the comp plan. There are other tall structures there, and the comp plan specifically says there's other tall structures. As long as you're below that, you can build a tall building because it would be unfair.
Yeah,
it doesn't say anything about putting 255-foot structures in the middle of the island. Matter of fact, it says things absolutely against that.
Mhm. So the process that we all thought everybody was going down was to try and get enough signatures so that it had to be brought up in reconsideration. Then we all found out the governor put a nix on that, or the legislature did, and the governor signed it in early 2023. So recall or lawsuit?
It'll probably be both. I don't. I'm not going to. They're not just me. I mean, you keep calling me the leader of this group. I'm not. There are a lot of people here that are involved. A lot, and again, there's a lot of different things in motion. It's not over by a long shot, but it's not.
What has
just
a
me.
better chance, a lawsuit or a recall?
Well, recall elections in Florida, let's just be honest, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's not a case for recall. With what's been presented to me, I think there is, but it's still very difficult. It's a difficult burden of proof, and it's a difficult time frame. Again, is it still a worthwhile effort? Probably.
Yeah. If there was a recall, who would you like to see in those seats?
It's a good question.
Thank you. That's what
That's a
Would
good
you go
question.
in there?
I don't know. I appreciate that. I don't know. I don't. I really have to think about it.
really pains
Why
me
do
to
you
see
have to
people
think about it
applauding
now?
for
You
you.
ran. Wait a minute. You ran before. Why now the hesitation? Or
Well, not
Can't get his
just-
damn house built.
Well, I want to get house built and those sorts of things. No, it all comes down to where I think I can be the most effective. It would depend on who else was for those seats, right? So,
All right, top three.
I wouldn't.
on.
I mean,
Who would you like to see in those seats? All right, Anita. Everybody uses Anita. Anita was very vocal at the last meeting about it. I don't think that she wants to deal with that stress anymore.
Yeah, it's tough, and I've become friends with Anita, and I have a lot of respect for
Who
Anita.
doesn't? Who doesn't?
And I would mind seeing her in the seat. I mean, again, I would heavily consider it again.
Yeah.
I might say I would. I think Barbara Hill would be
Yes.
not too bad. I mean, I
Those
like
are all
Barbara.
no votes on this project. You're
They are.
talking about all no votes on
Yeah.
that project. And the way it would work, I think, is you recall. You have to have 50% of the voters recall. I think, right? 50% of the voters.
There's a small percentage you have to have at first to get
Sure.
it
Yeah.
done, and
Verified.
then you have to get.
We're
more,
talking
and
2
then-
years anyway. I mean, but it sounds like the process, because then you got to set up a special election, and
Yeah,
you
which is-
all
I
have
mean,
to pay for that. By the way,
Yeah, it's
do
not
you all?
much, so it's not.
Okay.
It's not. You're not talking. Attorneys are going to cost a lot more money, so
Yeah.
it's not like that.
so that would be the path of
Well, that's only the
least
path.
financial resistance.
But that path doesn't get us to our objective, right? Our objective is to not have those towers built. So the recall election, while it's emotionally a thing that people are emotional right now, and they want satisfaction. I understand that, but my objective is to not have those towers built. So those.
So
things
you
are two
think-
separate
you
so
think-
that would be a legal thing.
in my opinion.
So
yes,
you
but
obviously spoke to an attorney. Did the
I
attorney?
have not spoken to an attorney yet.
Oh, have
Why
you
would
spoken
you
to
say
somebody?
obviously?
Have you spoken to somebody that's spoken to an attorney?
That's possible. I mean, everybody
It's
speaks
possible.
to
It's
attorneys.
a yes or no.
Well, I speak to
Come on.
attorneys every day,
I
but I
guess
have
I'm-
not spoken to attorneys specific to this.
You
Put
really?
me on the stand.
Do you
but-
need
You
to
better
speak to an attorney
really
every
hone
day?
that
What the hell?
question down.
No, so what I'm trying to find out is, do you? I mean, we're just average people. We're not attorneys, but does an
That's for
attorney say,
sure.
"Hey, listen, I think you got a case. They're not following the comp
Yes.
plan."
Yes,
Okay, but they are following the comp plan.
they're not. That is not.
They're
it
not
is
feeling-
absolutely,
But they're not
true.
following the spirit of the comp
Well,
plan.
no, even the comp plan. When they say different heights, you can again, and Seagate's consultant really likes to pick and choose specific sentences from very specific policies to boost their argument. She doesn't bring the sentence up right after that says basically it's 2 above flood will be followed in all the cases unless there's taller buildings
Yeah.
around there, and there
Yeah.
aren't any buildings.
So
on the
you're
that tall.
so I'm gonna play an attorney right now, okay? So and I'm gonna defend
This
the
is
town.
scary.
Yeah. So you're gonna argue with me that I didn't follow the comp plan, and I'm gonna say to you, listen, the comp plan allows this new development agreement that we came up with allows us to ask for more height, and so we put together a proposal to ask for more height. Followed the development agreement. We went to the LPA. They shot us down. We are allowed to go to the town council. They voted us by a count of 3-2 that we get the approval. We followed the entire process the town laid out to a T. We didn't violate anything that's not there that we're allowed to do.
But what you did is not consistent with the comp plan. I'm gonna keep using that word. It's
But
not
that-
consistent with the comp plan. And that's
Then why
law.
didn't the town councilors say it's not consistent with the comp
Did
plan
they
and
say
vote
it-
no?
when they voted, did they say it was?
They would. Well, yeah, they did
They
ask.
did not.
Well, they asked the town attorney if they were
And
legal.
what the town,
here.
the
She
town,
said they were
town
legal.
attorney said that you have to make that
Yeah,
determination.
but she wouldn't advise them to break the law or break or
again, but
violate the
she
codes.
also advised them that the meeting was also.
Well, you're splitting hairs on that. That was an
that's just the way
extra.
that is.
That was an
Attorneys
extra
have
meeting.
opinions, and again, the attorneys are never wrong. Do you ever have an attorney admit they were wrong to you?
I'm
Never,
glad the
ever.
one that I have is never wrong. That's all that really matters. I mean,
So, but no, and the law is it has to be consistent with the comp plan. Case law goes back to 1935
Yeah.
of towns raising buildings, making them in this 2006 and 2004, 2006, Jensen Beach, they built 4 apartment towers. They were full of people, and the residents sued, and they tore those buildings down because that development was found not to be consistent with the comp plan.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you have a case or not. I think that
Again, we just have to go through
Yeah,
all avenues.
sure.
And
I just, when you look at that case compared to this case, when Chris Patton brought up the lawsuit against Margaritaville, it's day and night. I mean, they really whopped out some public benefit here.
Well, let's just look at this place. And this is what I said this to Jim Athold too. You can't compare a condo building to a hotel resort that's here. And what this particular resort does for our community. They have Christmas tree events. They had trick-or-treating for our kids. Torgenson's and TPI do so much for this community. This is not, and I'm going to stand up, but again, you guys are all here, right? We're all here. You guys come here every Saturday. That this is open. They're going to open it up for fireworks. Seagate is a private development with a private club, with a private walkover, and they're going to privatize their beach, right? So
Your wife is heckling now.
Yeah, and you're putting these high buildings in a low-rise residence. It's literally the quietest part of the island. That's why I bought there. Like when we first were looking here, and we came here to Times Square, it kind of reminds us of Key West. Is very cool.
What if they painted a nice dolphin on the side of the building so you could see the, or made it look like an ocean or sunshine, make it nice sunny sun, like my truck, my new truck, a nice yellow with sky at the top.
It's just not an
fish
appropriate
on the
development
bottom
for that part of the island. It's not appropriate, and again, it goes
When
against
you talk
everything that this town was founded on, and everybody knows that. Every single counselor knows why this town was founded. They know exactly why we have a town, and the ones that chose to go against it, I cannot explain it. I don't have the words.
Town is changing, Jim. Town is changing.
Well,
There's going to be bigger buildings on the island.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right.
We'll
Sure.
see.
How
Those are
high
our
would
places.
you? What's your height number?
I don't.
Stories
well, again,
or
there
height?
it's
Yeah.
3 above flood. That's what they have to do.
So
I
you're
just
all-
want to
you-
change the comp plan.
So you're okay with the milk carton look where
It's-
they're all
again. So Jim uses the argument. Well, it's one property and they can absorb the height. To me, if you're going to cover the things with, I can use that same argument for no height, right? You can cover it all with building. It's
Sure.
It's one property.
So you would stick with 3 above all of it, not like these guys were
So
saying.
again,
Maybe
it
they
all
would
comes
be
down, and again, your previous
to
guest
something higher.
said this appropriately. They can, in that district, they can ask for more height. It says different heights with benefit, right? So, and we can all, I think, agree that Matt's going to use the thing. I pulled my height off the beach. Well, he has a private beach club, and you're not selling $4 million condos if you don't have a beach club and a private restaurant. It's just the way that it is. That's not enough benefit to me to give them 255 feet, right? So if you want an additional story or two, right, or some staggering height there, could that property absorb a little more height? Sure, but you need to have the benefit, the appropriate amount of benefit with that. We got nothing. We got the freaking shaft.
Yeah,
but we got.
I do think that. Wow, you're getting a lot of applause today. You should run for office. At
Try
some
that.
point in
You
your
know,
life. So the thing that I did notice is that the neighborhood seems to be kind of against it, and that's why. Well, I'm not for or against any project on this island. We don't live on the island. We're just disseminators of information. But my point is, I do kind of feel like the town council didn't really protect the neighborhood.
I will put an open invitation to anybody that voted for the project to come with me any day. And let's go walk around and knock on the doors down to Nora and down to all those things back there. Let's go talk to the people that live there. Let's really go talk to them. I know a lot of people that live back there. So there are a lot of beach families live back there. A lot of Islanders have been here a long time, live back there.
Did you bring
it's not just that.
Did you bring us a gift?
We didn't even want a dog park in our backyard.
Yeah, I know. We had to fight the neighborhood about the dogs. So no, now what was I
and
going to ask
we love
you?
dogs.
Yeah, we have 2 of our own.
But you can see the point.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you see the new Pink Shell resort?
Yes.
Yes or no on that?
I would be a no.
You'd be a no on that.
again,
Moss
to me,
Marina,
they-
yes or no on that?
Of course, not where that is right now. not,
Outrigger, London Bay, yes or no on that?
Well, so London Bay is different. I'm not saying I would vote yes with the current height they have, but again, they can.
You said what?
I would not vote yes with the current height that they're proposing. But
17 stories.
London Bay can build a
just heard the
building there,
yes.
Yeah.
and be consistent with
So
the comp plan.
how tall would you
I don't
like
know.
that?
I don't know what the tall. What's the tallest neighbor that's next to there? I don't know what it is.
Okay, so you'd say whatever
Huh?
it is close to that. Yeah, 5.
On both sides. On both sides.
Yeah.
Is that on
Well,
both
Gulf
sides of London
Side
Bay?
12 did
Interesting.
it.
But yeah, but Gulf Side 12 is in between two buildings that are tall. They're
No,
only
they
4.
built. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
built low.
They did absolutely.
We're
So-
agreeing on that point.
Okay,
All
I
right.
don't, listen. I'm used to getting attacked. I'll come from
Yeah.
everywhere. You know,
Are you
so-
going to be in the bike parade tonight?
I am.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is your
well,
family
my,
going to
my
be in the bike
son,
parade? Yeah.
my wife and my son are out there. We're gonna decorate our bikes. I'm gonna freeze my ass off.
Do you think, lastly on this, I know we're beating a dead horse here, but
yeah, we gotta let these people go.
do you think that
You're not forcing anybody to
um,
listen.
you guys kept
We
rambling
say that
on?
all the time.
Do you think if we got
force you
John
on our
and
page.
Karen and Jim, they would actually sit at a meeting and answer questions for the
I
public?
wish I could answer that. I don't know. I really don't. It's not easy. It's really not. And I will say one thing about Mr. Adderhold is, I sent him an email. It was not threatening, but I was not nice. I was very curt about what I think he should do. And he called me. We had a really good discussion. We talked for an hour. And I commended him for that. I'm like, that's not an easy phone call to make. I'm not the easiest guy to argue with, and I'm pretty bullheaded.
You like to talk about yourself a lot too.
I know my flaws. It's the way it is.
I know I know what you're feeling there.
But it's a hard thing to say, hey, I'm going to voluntarily go somewhere and let people just beat my ass.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing. So
No,
I think they should. But again, in the end, what does it matter?
I don't know. Do you
You know-
think any of those three are
That was-
flippable? Any of them?
I really wish they would be.
No. What is your opinion? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so they're
That's my
staying
personal
sturdy
opinion.
on this.
Again, I spoke to Scott Safford yesterday. I told him I commended him on his. I don't think that's an easy thing to do once you make a decision to flip your vote. And I think he was sincere about it. I mean, people would say,
Scott did.
I know he did.
That's
I
what he
told
was
him,
saying.
I saw him
Yeah.
yesterday. I told him, you know what, Scott, when you said that, hey, I campaigned on rebuilding together, and this isn't rebuilding together. Like, man, they gave me the goosebumps.
And
I
I
have to
just
admit.
and I just want to make a point about Scott. Everybody gave him so much shit about taking money from developers, and he was the one who flipped on the
Agreed.
biggest developer on the island so far. Which you got to give him some credit for
Listen,
that.
I gave him. I wanted
Yeah.
to give him a hug, but he had surgery, so I couldn't give him a hug yesterday. But he's a man of his word, and I'll give him that.
Yeah.
So and I appreciate it.
The folks that are watching online, I know we're going to wrap this up here, but if I just want to ask them to type in the chat box who they think might, if anybody, flip on this, if at all. So, well, I guess this is to be continued. I mean, this is definitely the biggest story on Fort Myers Beach since the hurricane, and before that, I think Margaritaville. So,
I agreed.
all right, so we'll see you tonight on the bike parade.
Woohoo!
All right, everybody,
All
thanks
right,
for
thank
coming. We
you.
appreciate everybody coming out and listening to our show and listening to our discussion about Seagate. And I'm going to watch the chat box. Who do you think is flippable? Dave, do you think anyone's flippable on this? Oh, Dave's not a hard no. He's not a hard yes. He's on the fence, as always. He's on the fence. And by the way, Dave is the new chairman of the much improved user-friendly Murph Committee. And coloring book to be released in early 2025 with Dave's picture on the cover. I bet you didn't know that. Who's trying to do a show? Oh, they are? Oh. We are important people. All right, everybody. We will see you tonight at the bike parade. It starts at Bayside Park, 4:30. We're going to bike around town, sing Christmas carols and Oh Holy Night. And then we'll meet you all back here for the Ben Allen Band. And I'm going to give my wife a kiss over the mistletoe. Yeah, on stage, baby. It's going to be one of those Frenchy kisses. Yeah, come on, let's practice, dear. All right, everybody, see you later. Bye-bye. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Oh. It's so hard to take just a little ground on things. I got it. Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't get any. I still want to get it. I don't want to say. But that's like that. No holds barred then.